So I think it's safe to say that Willy's Wonderland was released to mostly positive reviews. For the most part, it seems like people either love it or absolutely hate it. I myself am closer to the love it side, although I completely understand the side that says it's garbage. Because it is. But to me, it's like entertaining garbage, like a dumpster fire. But I feel like if you go into this movie thinking there'll be any kind of complex, subtle messages, clever twists on cliche horror tropes, or an intricate story that'll keep you guessing the whole time, that's mostly your own fault. That's right, I'm victim blaming, baby! Because the moment I heard Nick Cage was gonna be in a FNAF-like movie where he's going head-to-head with demonic animatronics, my thought was, awesome, we're gonna see Nick Cage beat up a bunch of big-ass toys. That was my only expectation, and that's exactly what we got. If you expected any more than that, you will be disappointed, which, again, that's on you. Because even with the movie's many flaws, there's certainly enough here to enjoy. Like, sure, the cast of teen characters are awful, the acting is subpar, and the whole movie doesn't feel like it has nearly enough substance to justify its own existence, but, it is true that Nick Cage's character doesn't say anything in this movie, which is going to be a letdown to a lot of people, I know, but there are a few parts where he delivers that crazy Cage dialogue through his actions. Somehow, that son of a bitch found a way. On top of that, there are a handful of good kills, most of which, okay, all of which were animatronics being brutalized by Nick Cage, but whatever. Emily Tosta gives a good performance as Liv, which is honestly just a breath of fresh air considering my expectations for this movie. Oh, halfway decent acting. Also, the animatronics were well made. I'm really glad they went practical with those guys and gal. It makes the realization that Nick Cage is just beating up big toys even more amusing. Ironically though, they are about the least creepy animatronics I've ever seen. I mean, what the fuck is that? The fuck is that? Oh, and the music in this movie kicks ass too. It's your birthday and we want you. No, that song sucks ass. I'm talking about the Six Little Chickens, Earworm, that country rendition of Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, and good God, the Willy's Wonderland theme song is 80s pop heaven. The point is that the goofiness of it all really works for me, and there's plenty of things throughout the movie that keep reminding you that what you're watching isn't supposed to be taken seriously. So just don't do that, and you'll probably have a good time. Willy's Wonderland doesn't go the extra mile or break any new ground, but it's hard not to be won over by its pure ludicrousness. Nick Cage is as gloriously bombastic as ever, and its bizarre premise helps keep the film afloat whenever it begins to stall. I would have rather been on fire. Me giving it half a star is generous. Oh my god, Nicolas Cage is so fucking hot. I literally creamed while watching this movie. Like that time where he bashed that animatronic's head, when he sipped that fucking beer, when he was playing the pinball, that was so hot. Man, I wish I was Liv. They should make a sequel with more sex and more Nicolas Cage. I want to see this tomorrow. This is the worst Nicolas Cage movie I've ever seen. This movie was so beneath Nicolas Cage, it's not even funny. He did not even speak one word the whole movie. This movie sucks, and if I could give it a -10, I would. I will never get that 1 hour and 28 minutes back in my life. Boo! This happened to my buddy, Eric. I miss Eric. Anyway, I'm about to get into spoilers, so long story short, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend seeing it if, and only if, you are okay with movies that don't have much, or any, substance to it, characters you don't care about and are only there to get killed, and you think Nick Cage beats up big-ass toys is a sufficient enough premise to keep you entertained. Now on to spoilers. So the opening scene is completely useless except to set up an equally unnecessary twist towards the end that I'm gonna spoil right now. The little girl in this scene is our female lead. A twist that fooled no one. But hey, we have to have something more than just Nick Cage murdering robots. God damn it. Seriously, there's no need for this. Just give me Nick Cage curb stomping a gorilla. The janitor gets his tires popped, which sounds sexy but isn't, and the mechanic only takes cash. Problem with that is the janitor doesn't keep $1,000 cash in his wallet like a peasant, and the whole town doesn't have internet for him to be able to use the ATM.
Yeah, we ain't got no internet in Hayesville. Yeah, we were gonna get it, but they just didn't.
Listen, you son of a bitch. What the fuck's your problem?
But the lore this movie does have accounts for this, so it's not really a logical fallacy like you might initially think. And you know what, I'm too lazy to explain it myself, so here's the exposition dump the movie gives you 3/4 in.
See, in town, we knew what was happening at Willys. No one believed us. They thought we were yokels. Tex eventually hired a demolition crew to destroy Willys. Eric Miller, the contractor, was found in bed as chewed up as a McDonald's hamburger. We told everybody just to stay away from there. We figured we'd just let it rot. The machines got out. We found bodies at the ice cream shop, the hardware store, and even the school. Leave our people be. Leave our children be. Leave our town be, and we will feed you.
Why didn't y'all just move? But this does explain that they purposely didn't get internet, or else they wouldn't be able to pull off this scam so easily. To me, this setup actually works pretty well, other than the fact that no one is keeping the townsfolk in the town and they could probably just leave whenever they want. I don't really see anything wrong with the way they explain why or how they get people to stay at Willys. Anyway, the janitor agrees to clean Willy's Wonderland overnight to pay for the car. This agreement, of course, accompanied by some goofy sound effects. Which is something that happens throughout the movie. The use of wacky but not too over-the-top sound effects was another highlight to me. Just before that, though, we're introduced to the best acted character in the movie, besides Nick Cage, I guess, but he doesn't talk, so fuck him. She's trying to burn down Willy's Wonderland because she knows exactly what's going on.
Fuck me.
Just drop the lighter. It's wind resistant, so it'll fall without going out. You could end this right now. How many times have you tried this? There's no way you haven't tried to do this every day of your life. Your parents are fucking dead. So she gets a timeout for attempted arson while her stepmom goes facilitate a murder. But that's not a huge setback since her friends were coming over anyway so they could go burn down Willys together. So no, there wasn't a reason for her trying to do it by herself at the beginning. Anyhow, she's freed by the exaggeratedly slutty teen. Hold on. That shows intelligence and critical thinking skills. Could this be an attempt at subverting our expectations? Making a statement that women can be both sexy and smart? Like you shouldn't just assume that because they're attractive means that they only get by on looks?
Is it weird that I'm getting really turned on right now?
No, she's just stereotypical, dumb, horny slasher fodder. Of course she is.
Well, that was rude.
Well, it's true. And honestly, these characters are probably the worst part of the movie. The acting is serviceable, but the way they're written is about as B-movie as you can get. They're only there to get killed, and unfortunately they don't even do that in any sort of entertaining ways. I don't care about them, they're all dumb, and I'm glad they're dead. Whatever, just get to Nick Cage hitting an ostrich with a mop. Thank you. So this asshole comes to life and is all,
I'm gonna feast on your face.
but the janitor isn't having any of it. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. He beats the crap out of it and rips out its goddamn spine/neck, which is what I call brutal. But after this, he kinda just goes back to cleaning, as if nothing happened. I mean, sure, it could have been like faulty wiring or something, but why would you take that chance? Oh, I see. It's because this movie is ridiculous, knows it's ridiculous, and just doesn't give a fuck. I get it now. But yeah, he just goes and cleans the bathroom, which I'd like to think they actually made Nick Cage just clean a gross bathroom. I thought it was funny to me, so yeah, they totally did that. Anyway, the gorilla literally comes out of nowhere, and the janitor curb stomps him into a urinal. Cool. The Simpleton Six shows up to burn down Willys. They try to get the janitor to leave, but he won't because he really wants his car back, and the rest of the movie needs to happen. And honestly, that's what the rest of the movie feels like as well. Like, everything that happens just happens because the runtime. Every decision the characters make from here is just so unrealistic they would only be made by people in poorly written horror movies. I won't go through the rest of the movie as thoroughly as I have been, but I will still touch on the main stuff that happens and add in the usual sarcastic comment here and there. Ready? Okay. Liv goes in after the janitor. Her friends ignore her request for them to stay outside to find her a way out. They all get trapped in the building. Liv via the vent, and the rest of them via the roof that was apparently only 1-inch thick drywall. The dumb, horny ones go to the back room where the most amount of people were murdered and decide to start having sex, while there are Satan robots running around that they know about.
Has something always been here?
That they know about.
This dude dies right after one of the catchiest songs in the movie, which is really unfair. I would have been paying attention to the stage and not the big robot creeping up behind me as well. It's a really good song. The janitor kills the robot. These two dipshits get ate by the alligator. Probably because she's holding the door closed on herself and doesn't realize it. It's a pull. Take your hand off the door, dummy. The janitor kills the alligator. Also, the snout shakes when he punches it, which really amuses me. This absolute fool is tricked and killed when this child murderer tells him that she's actually on the up and up.
Trust me, Chris. You know you can. You can feel my goodness.
Fuck you. The janitor fucks off to play pinball? Oh, and this dude ran somewhere and gets killed off screen. I actually forgot about him because he's literally the least memorable character in this movie, which is really saying something because I only remember the names of 2 characters, and one of them is named the janitor. So again, these characters sucked, and what made them worse to me was the fact that they didn't give off a campy horror comedy vibe like Cage does. His character is unrealistic in a fun, parodic way, while these guys are just unrealistically dumb. But I am now realizing as I'm writing this that maybe that was the point, and they too aren't supposed to be taken seriously, and their unrealistic stupidity is just another way this movie plays into its own B-movie nature? I don't know. Sure, let's go with that. This movie's flawless now. The sheriff shows up at Willys after getting a call from this guy just before he felt the goodness. She cuffs the janitor, makes the officer take Liv to the station, and then waits outside for Willy to do his thing. The janitor kicks on the best version of head, shoulders, knees, and toes to date, and we watch him gooch this lady to death. A part I'm sure that one reviewer absolutely loves. Also, her friend just kind of stands there and watches like a weirdo, but I'm not here to kink shame, so whatever. The janitor kills her too. Deputy so-and-so gets talked into going back to help the janitor, then immediately gets killed off by a turtle. Death by back rub, I think? Liv gets away in the cop car and heads back to Willys. Too bad about that officer, though. He actually got me to laugh with this line.
You want me to get that?
People made their beds, they got a lie in them.
Pretty sure the saying is protect and serve, Sheriff.
The sheriff sees the janitor taking out the trash and tries again to feed him to Willy. Willy's a little hangry though, so he fucking splits the sheriff in half and... Wait, did the upper part of the dummy get caught on something? It's just hanging there. Only had one chance to get that shot, didn't you? Yeah, that makes sense. Willy and the janitor fight. The janitor gets slightly more beat up than he did in all the previous fights, and just as Willy is about to win, he leaves. Aw, come on, Willy's Wonderland. What is that about? There's no way Willy doesn't finish the job. That makes absolutely no sense. The janitor fills a sack with cans of beer, pop, and beats the ever-loving shit out of Willy. Like, really lets out some rage. And since this is the big bad, they have to add a little touch extra for this kill, and the janitor rips Willy's head off. A nice touch. And I know some people say that the fight between the janitor and the titular big bad was boring and the janitor should have taken more damage to raise the stakes or something like that, but I disagree. I get that Willy probably could have just done what he did to the sheriff and killed the janitor, but come on, that's not going to happen. And sure, they could put the janitor on the brink of death only to have him make some sort of grand comeback using the power of friendship or whatever, but this isn't an anime. This is a movie. And also, the janitor seriously does a number on Willy and continues to beat him even after he's already clearly won. Then, on top of that, rips Willy's head off. The only thing that would have made it better is if he walked out of Willy's holding the head and mounted it on his car as a warning. Instead, the janitor finishes cleaning and walks out of Willy's while Freebird plays in the background? How did you get the rights to use Freebird? Did you get the rights to use Freebird? Whatever. Liv goes with the janitor who runs over the turtle shortly thereafter, and the two assholes get blown up by Gooch Lady who wasn't really dead. The end. There's already talks of a sequel if this movie gets enough support, which I think it will since most audience scores seem to be on the more favorable side. The writer, Geo Parsons, also says he has an idea on where to take the possible next installment, so I really believe it's likely we'll see another one of these movies in the future. Which I'm completely ready for because, like I said, even with all the problems this movie has, to me, there was enough good here for an entertaining and overall enjoyable experience. And if you're like me and embrace B-movie schlock and can appreciate it for what it is, you'll probably feel the same way. Anyway, subscribe, it'll be your good deed for the day. Like this video and let me know your thoughts on Willy's Wonderland in the comments. But remember, my opinions don't matter and neither do yours. Let's all just accept this and get along. Have a nice day.